Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Baku for round 14 of the penultimate race around here for the SDN World Championship Season 4 Tier 1. My name is Indigo, or Jamie if you like to call me, and I will be your commentator for the last two races. It's a shame that I got brought in towards the back end of the season, but Fireblaze and me, we known each other for a few weeks. He saw my commentary and he brought me in. So he messaged me asking me to do comments for a favour, and I said yes. So we're just waiting for the drivers there to get on the circuit to see what they could do, and we've got a championship underway as well. So let's see then what the guys have to do in the championship to try and leapfrog each other and get that World Championship. So who should we go on board with first? Danielle in the Alpine. We'll go on board with him. to see what he could do, and he's on the medium compound tyres early on in the stage. Try and get a represent, well, try and put down a marker for the reference points before he goes on the soft compound tyres. And we know that medium compound tyres will be used in the race as well. We've got Kick will become champion in Baku if he finishes in first place. Fireblades will have to finish or lower. If with fastest lap or pole, sorry, because you do get a fastest lap. I mean, you do get a pole. Sorry, you do get points with fastest lap and a pole. And if he finishes first itself without any pole or fastest lap, then Fireblades have to finish 6th or lower. Do you know what? Let me restart that because I'm reading it properly now. So, if Kick wants to become world champion in Baku, he's got to finish first with the fastest lap and pole because you get points for both of them. And Fireblades will have to finish 5th or lower. If Kick finishes in first, Fireblades will have to finish 6th or lower. If Kick finishes in second with fast lap or pole, then Fireblades will finish 8th or lower. Second itself, then Fireblades 9th or lower. Third with fast lap or pole, 10th or lower. Basically there for Fireblades, but it should be the card should be pointed towards, I think, Kick, because obviously he's got a big lead in the championship and there's only 2 races left to go. So let's see then if Kick can keep Fireblades at bay, as Danielle is about to make his way down the long main straight to start a flying lap around here in Baku. We haven't even talked about the circuit yet, but this circuit has provided some fantastic racing in its past history. As we head down towards turn 1 there, slight lock up, use the curb on the outside. Make sure you avoid the outside wall because it does stick out. A few people, including myself, have been caught out by the outside wall. As we exit the left-hander of the 90-degree corner at turn 2, back at the power immediately as soon as the car is straightened up. As we head down now towards the heavy braking zone at turn 3, breaking a straight line, and want to try and get as close to the wall as you can on the possible on the exit too. I've seen a few people crash there, including Yuki Tsunoda, and I think Pierre Gasly being one of them. Now coming towards turn 6 and turn 7, there is a Haas right behind us. I don't know which Haas it is. I think it could be Sheepy Gamer, who is right behind but gets massive wheel spin at the exit of turn 7. Now coming towards this slow speed on turn 8. As you want to cut the corner on the entry there, get back in the power. The car just complaining as we make our way now towards the castle section there. Locks up, almost goes into the wall, but he does scrape the wall on the exit there, and that might cost him a bit of time. But luckily, is unscathed as he kept his wing intact and is still able to go for the flying lap as we continue all the way down towards this elevation change, dropping downhill towards the famous turn 16 corner. Knocks off the nose cone there, or knocks off the cone, and now coming towards turn 16, as we make our way now towards the left-hander. Leads on the curb on the outside, and Danielle will be the first driver to complete a lap on the medium compound tyres, but we know that's not really representative to his true pace, as there's a few people on the inters. Now, I think it's Q1. I think is it full qualifying? I think it is. So explains why some people on the inters and the mediums then. So I didn't even know it was full qualifying. My bad, guys. But anyways, the first time is a 39.8 as Sheepy Gamer goes into P2 with a 40.3. But obviously he needs to improve on that lap time because he's quite far away from Danielle's lap time on the medium compound tyres. But we've seen him in the background and making a few mistakes. Ivan coming towards turn 8 right now as he gets super close to the wall as we now commit to the castle section, carrying the speed through. Just be very careful with the back end there because it's so easy to lose the back end and also hit the wall. But look at that, nice and smooth, good rhythm going out of the castle section before we drop downhill through the elevation changes at turn 15. This is where we saw Brendan Hartley and Pierre Gasly as Mel's Gaming goes towards the top of the timing sheets, and as you can see, Ivan Prost used a bit of the inside curb to rotate the car and try and get a good exit. Coming towards 16 now, taking a wider angle using all of the road on the outside as he continues now towards the final 2 corners where it should be fully flat out. We saw Lewis Hamilton bouncing through there as more drivers cross the line then on the medium compound tyres. Ryan, but Nick goes into P3 with a 40.2. I'm about to see what Ivan Joss could do in the Red Bull then as he powers his way towards the line. It's going to be a 38.6, and that's a handy lap time indeed there for Ivan. And we'll see, can that be beatable? But if it is Q1, all these drivers are looking to do is try and get themselves inside the top 15. And there's only 2 people that can be getting knocked out of Q1 here. So whoever's 16th and 17th will have to wait a long time before the race gets going again. But here comes Reiki Yu coming towards the line, goes up into P4 on the soft compound tyres, and a 10th away from Danielle in the Alpine. Last race as well, that's an interesting race. I think Fireblades is now going for a lap time. Interestingly, he started a lap time behind the Aston Martin, but the Aston Martin should back off, which he does do, and he gained a bit of a toe, but not too much down the straight as we go down towards turn 3. Another sharp left-hander, heavy breakers on indeed, and it's so easy to hit the inside wall there. Look at that, all for the steering lock to try and rotate the car before we make our way now into another right-hander. We go, using the curve very nicely. The back end of the car seems stable, no signs of the car wandering away as we continue now to this left-right sequence here, which is very easy to mess up as well. This track is very difficult indeed, full of slow-speed corners, and it's also very easy to lose the car. Going through turn 8 now, late commitment there to the steering wheel as we make our way now towards the castle section for Fireblade. Keeping it nice and tidy through here, get a good run out of here, which he does do in third gear as he just gently gets on the throttle. Now coming towards the end of the castle section. A few people on the exit of the castle section can invalidate the lap times indeed. They might go a bit too wide. We don't really see it in qualifying, but in the race it can be a problem. Coming towards turn 15, where plenty of people have hit that wall, including Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. Giovinazzi being one of them, and Lawrence Stroll too. Missed the apex at turn 16 there, but still gets a good exit. Fireblade finished in second place ahead of a Kick at the last Grand Prix in Mexico. Ryan finished in P3 with Finn up into first place. So now here comes the Ferrari driver. Where can he place his car? All he's looking to do is get himself inside the top 10 as he makes his way now towards the line. It's going to be a 38.6, and that is 1700ths away from Ivan there. So very close between those two as all the lap times are starting to come in. Look at the Haas versus the RB. That's quite unusual to see as Finn Gertz goes into P1 with a 38.5, a tenth ahead as Sheepy Gamer goes to 6th place. But interesting, the RB and the Haas were very close together as they started and finished the lap time. That's Patat's job, who was in the way of the Haas there, but he scrapes the ball as the back of the car steps out on him as he tries to get on the power. Luminous Bus goes into P4 in the Mercedes, just ahead of his teammate there with a 38.7. So 4 people in the 38, and this can be a very difficult track to do because it's so easy. There's like a low grip surface around here, so it's just very difficult to get on the throttle without losing the back end of the car. Kick Racing Pro, here he is in the Williams. Now what can he do? He's currently in 15th place, but we know he's got the pace to get himself outside the danger zone, so he's just looking to try and get himself inside Q2 without any problems here with the DRS enabled. Can he get himself ahead of his championship rival as he makes his way now towards the line? It's going to be a 38.4, and he goes quickest then by a tenth of a second ahead of Finn in a second place. Represented AMS, of course. AMS, obviously a console PC, and we've seen plenty of people race for AMS as well, so not quite a few of them. All seem to be quite fast indeed. Ticey comes now towards the end of the first sector, but I think he's down his lap time in T. Yes, he is. 2 tenths down the first sector is the Sauber driver. Kaiken Kass is now making his way towards the end of the first sector, 35.2, and that's what we saw. I think it was at the time somebody else do that as well. I'm not quite sure who it was at the time who said 35.2. It was only a few seconds ago, and I've already forgotten. So that tells you how good my memory is, because I got to focus on everything here tonight. Very important, this championship, as there's only 2 races left to go in this season. Let me have a quick scroll through. It is a long qualifying session then, so that's what Fireblaze forgot to tell me. Now coming towards the end of turn 15 here before we go towards 16. So in Q1 we usually see people going to intermediate tyres just to try and kill a bit of time before they go onto the soft compound tyres and try and put themselves inside a place inside the top 10. And that's what all the drivers are looking to do. So we'll see 2 people disappear from qualifying. With 8 minutes left to go in the session, Kiki Racing Pro goes quickest with a 38.4. Here comes Kaiken Haas now coming towards the line. What's he going to do? He's run out of battery. It's a 39.5, and he puts himself inside of the top 10. I think he should be safe, but we'll never know because we need to see what Ryan, Lucas, TVL, NL, and Patat Job can do in the RB, the Williams, and the Red Bull driver. So, in terms of safety, I don't think it's quite hard to tell what the cut-off point, but I'd say P10 downwards are the ones that are not really safe. Danielle is still going for a run on the medium compound tyres, so that's quite interesting. Luminous Bus believes he's safe with a 38.7, and I believe he is safe as well, so we could just sit back, relax in the pit lane, and look at that, mounting the curb at turn 15 there. Did that lose him any time? He's still on the medium compound tyres, which is quite interesting. He's 2 tenths up in the middle sector. Is he trying to get through the medium compound tyres, or will he try and go to softs later? Does he have the pace to get through the mediums? If he does, that means he saves a set of softs for Q2 or Q3. And that could be very handy indeed for qualifying as we make our way now towards the line, the DRS line. It opens up, and we're about to see what he could do. Using the rest of the overtake he has, the little of it, as Daniel goes towards the line, it's going to be P10. He does improve, but stays in his position there. So could that be a nervous time there for Daniel, because the rest of them, I think, are going to go on the soft compound tyres. Yes, they are then. So behind him have gone soft. So let's see if the likes of Lucas, NL, and Ryan Bernard can improve. Here he is towards the end of the sector. A lot of ERS stored up there for Ryan. And let's see, he's 1.4 seconds up, despite having a lot of ERS in his disposal. So he hasn't used a lot of that battery yet, has he? But we'll see then where this lap time could put him. Inside the 38, I believe. This looks like it's going to be a good lap time here for Ryan Bernard. So let's see if we can try and keep it up as we make our way towards the line now. He's not really using the battery, is he? He's not really maximise the use of his battery as he makes his way towards the line. It's going to be a 38.6. So goes up into P6. Good lap time there from the Red Bull driver. And there's plenty more time to be found then from him because he barely used overtake. But trouble times here for the RB of TVHNL. He can't seem to get a decent lap on the board. It's a 40.3. And with AMS Lucas now making his way towards the line, let's see where the Williams driver could go. It's a 38.8, and he puts himself into P7 there ahead of Mel's Gaming. So the two RBs are in a bit of trouble in 16th and 17th, and Tim has joined. So that means there's 18 drivers in this session then. So 16th, 17th, and 18th will be eliminated. But Daniel, will he go on the soft compound tyres? Does he believe he's safe or not? I think he's still out there on the circuit. So let's see then. He's coming in the pit lane. Will he put on a set of softs? Does he have to? Or will he be just safe enough? Because it looks like the RBs are struggling so far. But back on board with the RB of Patat Job as he makes his way now out of turn A. That's a tap of the wall on the exit, but nothing more than that as he makes his way now towards the castle section. Just threading the needle through there. It can be very difficult indeed. It's easily misjudged. And now coming out of the castle section, the highest part of the circuit before we drop downhill towards the elevation changes. And the flat out two left-handers, I mean, you arrive at fast speed through here, turn number 15, can be very difficult. He scrapes the wall on the exit. Let's see what his middle sector is, a 14.3. And Gijs, yeah, Ik Ben Engels. Patat Job, unfortunately, has invalidated his lap time, so that won't count. There is 4 minutes left to go in this session, and he has enough time, but he's on the back foot. Under massive pressure, he has no reference points or banker lap as he makes his way back in the pit lane there. So massive pressure from the RB. Right, so Tim, who's joined late in the session, let's see what lap time he could do. He's only got about a limited amount of time to do about 1 or 2 laps, and that is it. Depends when he gets to the circuit, but maybe there he is then on his out lap. AMS Timms arrives very late, and he might have 2 laps here. Depends if he's fueled enough in the car to do 1 or 2 laps. Is he one of those drivers where can he put down the marker immediately, or will it take a bit of time to get in the rhythm? Because some drivers, when they get out of the garage, they can just bolt it on their laps without making any mistakes or sliding around. But some people, like me, takes a bit of time to adjust and get to grips with the track as well. So let's see if AMS Timms has it to try and get himself into Q2. Can't afford any mistakes, no invalidations, no sliding around. Tim could be on the back foot here, so let's see what he could do in his McLaren. Unfortunately for Tim, finished in 17th place. Didn't have a good race back at the Mexican Grand Prix. I think Tim can be a very handy driver. He's had a few top 10 finishes so far this season. But we're going to stay on board with him then, because this is all about getting outside out of 16 places. It's all about getting himself into the top 15. But it depends on where though. So, as he prepares for flying lap with 2 minutes and 35 seconds left to go on the clock, no room for error at all for the man from the Netherlands, as majority of these drivers are Dutch. We've got a few people on the Austrian side. But here we are then. DRS is enabled for Tim. There is 6 kilometers to go for him. And let's see, where can he put his McLaren? We know that Lando Norris this season didn't get himself into Q2 because I think of yellow flags. I was go-karting that day, so I didn't have full context of what happened to Lando Norris. But I believe he's on the lap time. Then he got knocked out of Q1 due to yellow flags in the middle sector caused by who? I'm not quite sure. I think it was Esteban Ocon. But now we're making our way towards turn 3. Lando Norris finished ahead of Max Verstappen. Don't worry, guys. There is no British biasness from me. I'm unbiased, so you don't have to worry about what I'm going to say. For Verstappen or Norris, I respect Verstappen a lot. He's one of the best drivers out there so far. Proven to be in Brazil as well. Hence why he's still the championship leader. And Lando Norris, despite having the better car towards the middle part of the season, has not able to gain any points of Verstappen. He's only gained about 10 points since the Austrian Grand Prix. Well, I think Miami Grand Prix hasn't really brought the gap down in the championship, has he? But anyways, on board with Tim as he powers his way out the castle section. It looks like a decent lap time so far from Tim as I'm watching him. No signs of any errors so far, but let's see what his lap time is going to be as we dive down towards turn 15, get the car turned in and get back in the throttle again. It's going to be a 14.0 for him. And is this going to be good enough as he uses all the curves? So we saw Oscar Piastri and Charles Leclerc drifting to that corner as we make our way now towards the final two corners, where Lewis Hamilton suffered with back problems as he was bouncing all the way down the straight, as it wasn't a good year for Mercedes in 2022, as now he makes his way towards the line. Where is Tim going to put that McLaren? He crossed the line now. It's going to be a 39.3, and this one lap time is good enough for 9th place then. So that one lap time couldn't get himself outside the danger zone, but crucially for him, his teammate's been pushed inside the relegation zone then, so not good news for his teammate Raymond in 16th place there with a 40.2. So got a lot of his hands as he has a massive sway. It's a little slide outside of the castle section as he makes his way now towards the double left-hander we go. Raymond there on the back foot, but can he improve in his middle sector as he makes his way out of turn 15? What's his middle sector going to be? His teammate did a 40.0. What can Raymond do? A 13.9, 1.2 seconds quicker then. So Raymond is saving his best till last, which is very important indeed. He should have no problems now, as the last sector is basically a straight with one corner as turn 16, the left-hander. But now he should use all the ERS with the DRS all the way open as he makes his way towards the line. Daniel has gone P7 in his Alpine. Here comes Raymond towards the line. It's going to be a 38.7 and securely puts himself inside Q2 with 5th place there. So, unfortunately for Octavia has invalidated his lap time and he's been pushed into 50th place. So he's on the fringes of being knocked out. Can Reike or can TVN NL get himself into Q2 as he makes his way now towards the line? He's going to push Octavia out. He isn't. It's 17th place for him. What about his teammate down in P18? Can he push him outside? No, he can't. 16th place there, so Octavia is safe. But what about Reiki? Yes, he can. He is 5 tenths up in the middle sector, so the RP driver will be pushed out of Q2, unfortunately for him. So Reiki in 17th place. Where will he put his Aston Martin as he crosses the line now? 13th place for him, and Octavia, unfortunately, has been knocked out of Q1. So the people knocked out of Q1. It's Octavia, 2 RBs, and that is qualifying done for the time being. Good stuff indeed there. So we move on to Q2, and the goal is for Q2 to get inside the top 10. So judging by this, who could be on the back foot here to get themselves into Q3? We're about to find out soon. AMS Lucas is on the fringes, but we know that Tim joined quite late. He's down to P14 then, so just scraped through to Q2 with only one lap time on the board, and that lap time was good enough for P14. Let's see then, has he learned the track conditions around here in his one lap experience? Can he get himself inside the Q3 despite joining very late in the session, only having the one lap time to try and do something about it? McTimmy has now joined the session, so 19 drivers it will be, but unfortunately for him, he will be knocked out of Q1. He'll start 19th place there, so he can't partake in qualifying as the session's already ended in Q1 then. So, 15 minutes of Q2. Like I said, the game is to try and get themselves inside the top 10 before we go on to the shootout. So 5 drivers this time will be eliminated. The question is, which 5 drivers? Crucially, Kiki, I got a message from somebody, and I think they could be joining me on comms, and he's Dutch, so you Dutchies will be happy. Let's see what he says. No, we can't. But it's all right. I thought I had a co-commentator alongside me, but not to be. McTimmy's left the session then, so hopefully that he can get back before the race. Maybe he doesn't want to sit on the sidelines. Maybe he's just left the session to do a bit of practice. But the 3 drivers have been eliminated. We'll have to watch the sidelines and just wait for the race. I know what it feels like to be knocked out of Q1 because I don't have good qualified pace. I have better race pace. And it's so frustrating when you get knocked out of Q1 because you know you have the pace to be up there. But unfortunately, the 1 lap is not good enough. And you got to make your way through the field. Qualifying has been my kryptonite in league racing so far. And it's so frustrating because, like, you think to yourself, what if I didn't get knocked out of Q1 or Q2? What if I had a good qualifying session and could I have won the race or been on the podium if it wasn't for my Q1 knockout or Q2 knockout? And I've had plenty of them this season in my other leagues. So we'll see then. The people who didn't do well in qualifying will they have better race pace. Finn Hertz now making his way towards the back of the Alpine driver. They're racing on their out laps. Hopefully there's no contact there as it was super close going down towards 13 and 14. But luckily no contact. Finn's has a bat out of it, so the Alpine driver gets a bit of fresh air. They're all fighting for track position as we go on board with the Haas man, as he is the first one to start lap time here in qualifying. So interestingly, the Haas is on the medium compound tyres, Sheepy Gamer, and I think he may be using them to try and get himself a lap time on the board and a reference point before he switches over to the soft compound tyres later. It's more risky now being on the medium compound tyres, but it was risky enough in Q1, but in Q2 it's I don't think it's a safe bet to go on the medium compound tyres, but maybe not sacrificing a set of softs just yet. And scrapes the wall at the exit of turn 2, but gets away with it as we get back on the lap pad again for Sheepy Gamer before we get down towards turn 3. Another heavy braking zone, a 90-degree corner as he puts the car in the right place there, chucks the car in, gets back on the throttle, another tap on the wall for Sheepy Gamer. One thing that you've got to be very careful of is when you go back on all the tyres, you've got to be very careful of the grip levels because it's tempted to push hard on all the tyres, but at the same time you can't afford that risk because if you crash early stages, that's it, your qualifying's done. So be very careful when driving around on the automated compound tyres. Make sure you don't push too hard or exceed the limits. And I've done it before myself where I've gone out on all the tyres and I just put it in the wall for no reason. Well, obviously there's a reason because I burnt myself, I lost grip, but I just put it in the wall. And you feel so ashamed because you know that you're not pushing hard on those tyres because they're old. But sometimes we make those mistakes. And once again, the cone gets wiped out there by Sheepy Gamer as it's stranded in the middle of the circuit at 15.3. Look at the back of the car just wobbling around as he gets on the throttle there. But we know this is not going to be his best lap time. There's more to come from the Haas man as he makes his way now towards the final 2 corners before we can head down the main straight. Charles Leclerc, Oscar Piastri had a titanic battle here. When they went on the second stint on the hard compound tyres, that's when they were close together for the whole race. And Charles Leclerc just could not find a way past Oscar Piastri. A 40.4 for the Haas man. Driver behind is Danielle. And he puts himself into first place with a 39.1, but 1 second quicker goes Finn Hertz. And what a lap time there from the Ferrari driver. Immediately puts a statement out in the second part of qualifying, throws down the marker, and Fireblaze is second place with a 38.8. But I know Fireblaze can go quicker than that, so let's see then as he locks up and goes off into the runoff area. Not quite sure what happened there with him. As Kaiken Kass goes into P2 with a 38.8, that's 7 tenths away from Finn in first place. Where is Kick? He's down there in 10th place, making his way now towards turn 14. He goes, turn 13, sorry, as he clips the apex there, gets a nice launch and gets a good run out of turn 13 to go towards 14. As you can see, using all the curb on the outside there. AMS Tim goes into 4th place with a 39.1. The Aston Martin of Reiki goes into P6. Now, Cluminous Bus goes into 2nd place with a 38.2. A blistering lap time there from the Mercedes driver. Mel's Gaming goes into P5. Look at the field spread there. Look at the gaps between all the drivers. Here comes Kiki coming towards the line now. It goes pole with a 38.0 as Ivan goes into P4. That's a blistering lap time there from our championship leader. And I think Fireblaze has got a lot of work to do if he wants to match him as Kiki secures himself into first place. So those drivers are definitely safe. But what is the cut-off point here in qualifying 2? That's the main question. Q2 is all about getting themselves inside the top 10, and the bottom 5 will get eliminated before we head on to Q3 to decide who will get a pole around here in the Land of Fire at Baku. First introduced since 2016, it was a mediocre race. It was expected to have loads of overtakes with the long straights, but we didn't really see much going on in that race. But Nico Rosberg winning, Sergio Perez, who had a gearbox change after crashing out in FP3, he had to change his gearbox. He actually qualified second on that day, but dropped back to 7th place. Then made his way through the field fantastically. Overtook, I think, was Kimi Raikkonen and Sebastian Vettel. I think he might have finished third. Vettel got second, and Perez finished in third place. I remember Kimi Raikkonen get a penalty for crossing the white line. AMS Lucas goes up to P7 in the Williams with a 39.0. That's a full second away. Look at that. Exactly a second away from Kiki Racing Pro. So yeah, AMS Lucas has got a lot of work to do. Laser, welcome to the chat, mate. You're our good friend of Fireblaze, previously, currently in P6. Fireblaze was the one to ask me to do commentary tonight, and I said yes. So yeah, that's why I'm currently commentating tonight. Thank you to Fireblaze. Majority of these drivers in here are Dutch, as yeah, I don't speak Dutch unfortunately, only a bit of it, but not fluently. But luckily enough, I was able to commentate in English thanks to the admins. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. Here comes Ryan Benink then. He was quite quick in Q1, but here he is. Hasn't set a lot of time just yet in 13th place there. As let's see what the Red Bull driver could do. Tyson P14 and Raymond haven't set a lot of time either. They're currently on the circuit. As I think somebody else in the order. Raymond goes up into P12. Just outside the top 10 then is Raymond at 39.8. And Dennis says, did you know that Fireblaze and Kiki Racing Pro are in a championship fight? Yes, I do, mate. I do. Fireblaze told me to read out the championship standings and also where they would finish as well. Ryan Benank coming towards the line now. Let's see what the Red Bull could set. It's going to be a 38.7, and he puts himself into 5th place there. So is that safe? I think from, let's have a look to see. P6 downwards might have to go. Yeah, definitely have to go on the circuit again because I don't think that's those lap times are good enough. Kiki Racing Pro can be champion in this race. Yeah, I know he can. I know he can. So majority of drivers then are in the pit lane as we're just waiting for those to get on the circuit. Those who need to get on the circuit, because I believe from like the top 5, I dare say, are safe. Well, I say top 3 are definitely safe. No need for them to come out the pit lane and waste a set of soft compound tyres. But where is the cutoff point? From P6 downwards, potentially those guys are not safe. So expect them to be on the back of the circuit and try and improve their times to make sure they get inside the top 10. But Tyson P15 hasn't set a lap time just yet. We did see him on the circuit, but I wonder, did he invalidate his lap time? Could be the question here. I'm trying to find Fireblaze's message. Bearing in mind, though, guys, it is my first appearance here in this league, so I haven't really been. Yeah, I don't know what's been going on for the whole season. Didn't have much time, so I'm trying to do my best, try and keep up to speed with everything. But I definitely know that Kiki and Fireblaze are in a championship fight, so don't worry about that one. I'll keep that in mind. Where is Fireblaze? I'm trying to message you. Not trying to message you, but I'm trying to look for his messages. There we go. I found Fireblaze then. So we've got some. Are you commentated tier 2 as well? Sadly not, mate. I don't have the time to commentate, so I apologise about that one. Then it says you are so effing good at commentating. Thank you, mate. I appreciate it. It's always nice to be appreciated. It is a bit of a struggle for me to commentate this one because obviously it's my first time here, so my confidence needs to build up, if you know what I mean. So I don't have the confidence just yet, but I'm trying my absolute best. Plus, I got brought in last minute, so I'm trying to get used to all these drivers' names, etc. Trying to get used to the situation I'm in, all the drivers, their previous results, etc. Who's the strongest and who's always been up there consistently. But before we start with Fireblaze, we'll read out what Kick has to do to become champion in Baku. So, if Kick finishes in first, has fastest lap and pole, which he does right now, but it's Q2, remember. So if Kick is first with fastest lap and pole, because you get points for pole, Fireblaze needs to finish 5th or lower to win the championship. If Kick finishes in first, Fireblaze has to finish 6th or lower. if Kick finishes in second place with fastest lap on pole, Fireblades will have to finish 8th or lower. If Kick finishes in second place, Fireblades will have to finish 9th or lower. Then you get the gist, really, don't you? But I'll try and keep up to speed then. I don't want to make any mistakes here. This is my first time. Quite weirdly, it's my first time here, and somebody could be champion. So that's how much I've missed so far this season. But obviously, me and Fireblades hasn't really known each other for a long time. As we make our way down towards turn 3, then this 90-degree corner chucks the car in, gets back on the throttle again as we make our way down towards turn 4. I thought Fireblades had the pace to try and get themselves comfortably inside Q3, but I think his first lap time was on a scrub set of soft compound tyres. He's currently 3/10 up, so I think it proves my point on his first lap time. We know that Fireblades has got the pace, but some people immediately like to get out of the garage on a brand new set of soft compound tyres and put that lap time down. Interestingly, the man in P1 is going for a lap time again, so hopefully, I think he maybe used 2 sets of compounds in Q2. But for those guys who got to Q2 comfortably without any problem, maybe they want to one set of soft compound tyres and therefore just using 2 here in Q2. Here comes Fireblades now coming towards the end of the sector. Let's see what he can do then, as it's a nice turn in there from turn 15. Fireblades is currently 3/10 up in his little sector, but nowhere near enough to try and beat Kiki Racing Pro. So definitely loads of time needs to be found there for Fireblades as he makes his way now through the fast 2 corners before we make our way on the main straight. Where can Fireblades put his Ferrari there with the DRS wide open as he powers his way towards the line and reaches speeds about 330 km an hour before he activates overtake towards the end. It's a 38.4 for Fireblades, and it's P4 only for him in the Ferrari. His teammate Finn goes back in the pit lane. Ivan's out there in P5. Let's see where the Red Bull driver can go as he crosses the line right now. It's a 38.2. That's a decent lap time there for Ivan. And the McLaren behind us, I think that is Tim. Tim is on the fringes of the top 10. So can Tim improve there in P10? He was a late joiner in Q1. He only had 1 lap to try and get himself into Q2. Made it work, but he's on the back foot here. A massive wobble on going out of turn 3. Turn 2, sorry. Where's Kiki? Kiki has invalidated, and he's also broke his wing. Let's see what's happened to him. He's broke his wing as Kiki. That was very lucky that he didn't lose a wheel there. So Kiki, despite being safe inside the top 10, has opted to go for the lap time, and that lap time has ruined him. But AMS Lucas, though, is getting a nice toe on the back of his teammates. So that's very helpful indeed. Here he is across the line, 38.1. What a lap time indeed there. And it's a Williams 1-3 so far. Very close times indeed there with all these drivers. 38 is quite a decent lap time, but with the track evolving and gripping up and getting better, I expect these times to drop inside the 37s. AMS Tim, the one to look out for inside or outside the top 10. He's got demoted into P11. So what can Tim do in this middle and last sector? He's on the back foot. There's a Red Bull who's, I think, had a problem at the castle section. Slowed down just a bit, and here he is coming towards the end of the middle sector. What can he do? It's 2/10 up. These 2/10 are crucial for Tim. Could put him inside the top 10 here. Got to keep it nice and clean going out turn 16. Then it's just the final 2 corners, which are flat out indeed. Should have no problems through there. Although I've seen some people hit the wall. And here we are then on the main straight. All the battery will be used, especially in the race in terms of attack and defence. But Tim, his deployment has been used. Here he comes across the line. It's a 38.8, and he puts himself inside the top 10. But we've still got other people behind him go for a lap time. Sheepy Gamer is one of them. No, he's actually not, because he's not on a lap time right now. Mel's Gaming was a few hundreds down in the first sector. Danielle has invalidated. Reiki, I expect him to get inside the top 10. All these times are so close, as AMS Raymond has got himself a 10-second time penalty as Heis has retired. On the track. Is that on the track? No, it's not. It's in the garage. I saw a yellow flag, so I thought it was him who retired on the circuit, but it wasn't. So lucky for him. But here we are then towards turn number 8 we go. Reiki chucks the car in, gets back on the throttle, scoops the car up as we make our way now towards the castle section. Full commitment. You cannot afford any hesitation through here whatsoever. Look at that, carrying the speed in 3rd gear before we get back on the lap pedal again with the overtake available to them. So I notice these guys are very sufficient when it comes to overtaking. sorry, not overtaking, in terms of the overtake button, because some people like to use the overtake button in the early stages and therefore they don't have it towards the end. So that's a compromise and sacrifice you've got to make. When is the best place to use it and where? But look at Reiki, 4/10 up in the middle sector, but that little moment at turn 16 might cost him a bit of time. Only about a few hundreds or a tenth, but it shouldn't be more than that, as now he uses all the overtake he has, all the battery he has in his disposal, try and get himself further along the grid. No slipstream from anybody as he makes his way towards the line. It's going to be a 38 point. Oh no! It's only 12th place. I thought that he was going to get inside the top 10, but Reiki, it's only P12 for him, and Kaiken Kass coming towards the line is going to be P2. What a lap time from the Aston Martin. Pulled it out the back when it was necessary, and now we're just waiting for the Mercedes. Tim is on a lap time. We're waiting for Ryan there, but Ryan has invalidated his lap time. What about Columbus Bus? There he is. Columbus Bus is safe. He doesn't have to complete this lap time, but we'll see if he dives into the pit lane, and I think he will because he's moving on the straight. So he's safe. He knows he is, as he's crossed the line to end the session. And that's it then. Qualifying is done and dusted then. So it's Kiki Racing, the man who is on provisional pole. Can he continue it into Q3? Fireblaze is on the back foot. The Ferrari driver needs to find something, try and beat Kiki and Lucas as well, because Lucas will help Kiki in the championship. It's like I've been put in the swimming pool and I'm in the deep end already, because I've not been here for the whole season, and I only knew about this league today. So yeah, I've been thrown in the deep end immediately, and in a championship fight. Unfortunately, I can't reminisce on what happened in the last few races, but I might be a full-time commentator in the next season. Let's just say that. Hopefully, guys, you enjoy the commentary. I will get better and better, more confident. But here we are then, Kiki, the Dutchman, on a provisional pole ahead of Kaiken Haas. In P2, Finn. In P3 ahead of Lucas. Ivan Joss 5th ahead of Columbus Bus. Fireblade 7th ahead of Ryan Banink. Tice in P9 ahead of Mel's Gaming. And we've got a full grid, ladies and gentlemen, because Onno Dole has joined the session. So 20 drivers will make up Baku, and we'll see what happens going into the race. I can't wait. It all comes down to the wire in the last two races, but Kiki can become world champion. Let me read you the championship standings, because I actually haven't done that yet. So just give me a few seconds, guys, before I head on to the championship standings. So we know Ferrari's first in the championship standings. So Kick. I don't know why I call him Kiki for. Sorry about that. I know another Dutchman that's called Kiki. You probably know him. But anyways, Kick is well ahead of Fireblaze. No, he's not actually. My eyes are deceiving me. So Kick is 11 points ahead of Fireblaze. Kick has 233. Fireblaze has 222. Further back is Finn with 164, and it's Williams versus Ferrari. That's interesting. Like in the olden days in Formula 1. Then Mike in the Haas is P5 with 76 points. Octavia is 6th with 66 points. Cyclo is 7th with 52. Joints with Raymond with 52. TVH with 9 in 9th place with 41. Ty with Ivan in 10th place with also 41. Robbie 11th ahead of Reiki. Matthias, Ryan, Eric, Kaiken Kass. Do you know what? Kaiken Kass, his pace seems decent, but he's so far back in the championship, which is surprising me. Maybe he hasn't been here for the whole season. I could explain why. David as well in 17th place ahead of Tice. Colin 19th ahead of Tim. And I'm not going to read you all 40 people, because that's going to take a long time. There's 40 people in the Drivers' Championship. Majority of people are Dutch. Ik ben Engels. But Q3 then, this is where it matters the most in qualifying. Who is going to be on pole for Q3? We're about to find out at the end of 10 minutes. But the man who set the benchmark in Q2 with a 38.0 is in the pit lane. So he's coming out later in comparison to other people. But who is going to cook here tonight in Baku? We're about to find out. This is where the pressure ramps up the most. This is when the drivers will start to make a few mistakes at the most important times. Going to go aboard with Ivan Joss first, because what I like to do is when people come out of the garage first, I spectate them first. That's the way it has been, and that's the way it always has been, always will be. So let's go on board with the Red Bull drive to see what he could do then. Let's go on fully on board with him to see how he tackles the corners. These tricky 90-degree corners, the slow speed corners where it's so easy to lose the back end of the car. Here we are then with the DRS enabled as we get the graphics up. Here we go as we head down towards turn 1, break the 100-meter ball, slow the car down, nip the apex of the entry, use the outside curve for support as we get back on the throttle again, braking before the 50-meter board. Slow the car down, clip the apex of the entry, use the full width of the track there to maximise the exit as we right behind the RP, as we get a bit of a toe from him as we get down towards turn 3, braking at the 100-meter board, slow the car down into 4th gear, late downshift into 3rd as he taps the wall of the exit as we go down now towards turn 5. Look at that, aggressively flicks the car in, lost the back in the car mid-corner, and might have lost a bit of lap time. That's 34.4, locks up though, but used the curb very nicely, using both curbs to rotate the car as he gets the power once again going down towards this slow right-hander. Now you can cut the right-hander, but he uses a bit of the wall on the outside too as he makes his way now towards the castle section. Oh my god, it's so close. Every time I think these guys go in the castle section, they might crash to the wall, but it's super close, just on the limits around here, as that's the way you've got to be in Formula 1. You've got to be always on the limit. You can't leave anything on the table, especially in qualifying. Here we are, coming towards turn 15, but he's broke his wing, has he? Or has he got away with that? Lucky boy. Ivan has got away with breaking his wing there. He just clouted the curb and smashes the barriers, but luckily got away with it. So Ivan then will continue his way towards the final 2 corners of turn 18 and 19. Turn 20, a flat tire right-hander, a flat tire kick, no problems through there whatsoever. Although people have hit the wall in the past there, including myself. But anyways, here comes Ivan towards the line. Now what's the benchmark going to be for him? It's a 38.3, despite a small hiccup on his lap. A decent lap time there. Can anybody displace him? Let's have a look. AMS Lucas now coming towards the castle section. Columbus Bus goes into P2, not representative. Kaiken Cass goes into P2 with a 38.4. Tice goes into P3 with a 38.4. A few hundreds away from Kaiken there. Mouse Gaming in 4th place with a 38.5 on board with AMS Lucas and Finn, what a lap time, a 37.7. Fantastic lap time there from Finn, the man 3rd place in the championship in the Ferrari. And Ryan goes into 2nd place there. Fireblaze in the other Ferrari goes into P3, but the wrong way round. We know the 2 Williams came out very late, so those 2 are left to get a lap on the board. What can AMS Lucas do? He's 4th in the championship, fighting with Finn, who's currently in P1 in the qualifying session. Here comes Lucas now towards the line. As he crossed the line, now is his pole? Yes, it is! It's a 36.7. And AMS Lucas stands on the top. Where is Keek? Keek Racing, Stop. I've got to stop calling Kiki. What can he do with the Williams? Blistering pace in Q1 and Q2. Can he make it a Grand Slam in Q1, Q2 and Q3? Let's have a look then. His middle sector is going to be a 13.1. Decent middle sector there as he gets back on the panel once again. And full throttle all the way down to the line. Can he get on pole? Or will it be a Williams 1-2? No slipstream from either Williams. We know that kick gave Lucas a lovely toe in Q2 to get himself inside the top 10. But no slipstream this time as he makes his way towards the line. Using overtake, deployment news. He crossed the line now. It's P3 with a 37.7 then for kick. As Columbus Bus gets a lap time on the board. Did he do a double out lap? A double out lap there, generating more tire temperature. Or did he make a mistake? But either way, he rectified his mistake and he's up into P4. So, there is qualifying for you then. AMS Lucas is the one on pole, and I did not expect that lap time there from the Williams driver, but blistering pace so far, and he's looking to take away P3 from his championship rival behind him of Finn. Mel's Gaming has retired in the pit lane then. Could that suggest he only had 1 set of soft compound tyres? Possibly. So his qualifying is done and dusted then. P10 is all what he could do. But we're just waiting now as the time ticks down for the final laps of qualifying. Who has saved another set of soft compound tyres? Because when it comes to full qualifying, you got a limited amount of soft compound tyres you could use. I know this because I do full qualifying in another league. You think to yourself, do I have to go out again on a new set of soft compound tyres in Q2 to get to Q3? Or can I just save? If you're one of those people that could just use 1 set of soft compound tyres in each session of Q1 and Q2, have 2 left for qualified 3, then it's looking handy for you and you have the advantage. But for those people who use a set of soft compound tyres more than once or twice in Q1 or Q2. They don't have the extra set in Q3. But I suppose that Kick and Lucas have set of soft compound tyres because their pace has been blistering, so I won't be surprised to see whether out of the track. But we know Clubber's bus, who did one lap but wasn't represented, whether he made a mistake or just did a push lap but not use overtake, just go around the circuit and get a bank on the time. So all the drivers then are in the pit lane. We're waiting for the final stage of qualifying to see who can take pole around here in Baku. It's looking good so far for Williams in first and third. Fireblaze, however, in P6 on the back foot. So it's going to be troubling times there for the Ferrari driver. I got to have my wits about me tonight to see what happens. There's the calm before the storm here in Baku. 9 drivers in the pit lane, 1 on the sidelines. Looking good so far. Oh no! The worst thing to have in F1 League racing is internet connection issues for Kick, unfortunately. So I really hope he can get back in the pit lane quickly, then have the 1 lap time to go round and try and get a pole off his teammate if he can. So Fireblaze will be licking his lips thinking, that's interesting. It looks like Finn is not giving his teammate a slipstream down the straights to help him boost himself up the order. But I know Fireblaze, not personally, sorry, but from league racing experience, he tends to have better race pace and qualifying. That's my opinion on him. I don't really know other drivers here, so I'm not quite sure what their strengths and weaknesses are in this league. But I can hear the engines revving up. We've got a Red Bull coming on the circuit. It is Ivan, as he's the only Red Bull driver here in Q3. Thankfully, we've got a full grid. But Kick needs to make his way back in the pit lane quickly to see if he could try and take Paul away. So let's go on board. No, sorry. Ryan is the second driver in Red Bull. My eyes are deceiving me once again. I'm not wearing my glasses. So let me put my glasses on to try and get a better vision. So here is the young Dutchman in P7 of 38.3. But it's a long way to go to find that time. It is so demoralising sometimes when you see like 6 or 7 tenths on pole. You're thinking to yourself, how on earth can I make that time up? I know it is difficult. It can be done though. Red Bull are currently sat third in the championship. They're fighting with Aston Martin. So far, they got the advantage of Aston Martin. There's only one driver inside the top 10, which is Geiken Cass in 8th place there. So both Red Bulls got themselves inside the top 10. Also Alpine. They're fighting Alpine in the championship. So Red Bull to Alpine, the gap is 5 points separating those 3 teams. Red Bull 117, Aston Martin 112, Alpine 112 as well. And also Ferrari versus Williams. Interestingly, Ferrari are ahead of Williams in the constructors' fight, so we'll see. Let's see if Kick it could be funny if Kick wins the drivers' championship, and Ferrari win the constructors' championship. That could be quite interesting indeed. Like we saw with Max Verstappen, but Kick unfortunately has joined a bit too late, and qualifying is done for the Williams driver, so he can only hope that Fireblaze does not get past him in qualifying. Back on board with the Red Bull driver as I promised. So let's see then the DRS enabled. This is their final laps in qualifying, all or nothing, and we'll see then can these drivers do anything about it in the last part of qualifying. Turn 1 looks decent, using the curve on the outside there, as you want to use that for extra support just to lean on. As we go down towards turn 2, this can be a very tricky indeed, especially there on the exit, because you can lose traction easily if you take too much curve on the inside. And he also scraped the wall, but you do get away with it sometimes if you scrape the wall. Coming down into turn 3 then, another heavy braking zone, another 90-degree corner before we make our way towards the slow speed corner at turn 4. We saw Lawrence Stroll hit Yuki Tsunoda, and unfortunately Yuki Tsunoda retired from the Baku Grand Prix, I think it was this season. But look at Ivan. Ivan's already 2 tenths up in the first sector, so good signs already from the Red Bull driver. Can he keep it up though? Can he keep his nerves intact? Make sure the pressure doesn't get to his head, because I know sometimes that nerves are high, because you know it's your final chance to do anything about it in qualifying, your final chance to put yourself up there in the pecking order as we exit the castle section. Nice run as well as he used the overtake there to just power his way down towards turn 15. Approaching the braking zone, from like 320 kilometers an hour down to about 130. Look at that, carried so much speed through there. Was Ivan the one that touched the wall? But somebody has made a mistake in the castle section. Was that Fireblaze? Somebody made a mistake. They're all on their flying lap. There's a Sauber, unfortunately, in the wall there, and that's his qualifying done. But on board with the Red Bull Ivan then. Here he is. 5/10 up is Ivan. Look at that. 5/10. Where he's going to put his Red Bull then. This could be very interesting to see what he could do towards the final stage of qualifying now. DRS open for the Red Bull driver as he crosses the line now. It's a 37.9. Gets ahead of Columbus Bus there. Kiki did not improve, unfortunately. He's in the pit lane. Did not get a second lap time on the board. So I don't know what he could have done there. Columbus Bus is down in the first sector though. There's a Red Bull slowing down. He's validated. Look at the two Ferraris. Fireblaze is far behind his teammates. He crossed the line. It's P4 for Fireblaze. But he does not get ahead of his championship rival Kick. Where is Lucas in the Williams? Let's go on board with him. There he is. Lucas, blistering pace. 2/10 up. In the middle sector there is AMS Lucas. So now, as he crosses the line, what lap time is this going to be? A 37.3. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness. Hot for dummy, your man. 37.3. Unbelievable. 4/10 clear of Finn in second place. Columbus Bus is next to cross the line. 600s down in the middle sector there for the Mercedes driver as he makes his way towards the line. What's it going to be? Deployment. Oh, he's spun. That's quite weird. But anyways, qualifying is done and dusted, and we move on to the race then. Let's see what the race has to bring us. Our two, look at that, Williams, Ferrari, Williams and Ferrari. I think we're in for a good race between the two constructors. Williams versus Ferrari. Two teams with a lot of history, two teams with the most records of race wins, and been in the sport for such a long time and made a big impact as well. Two teams having different scenarios in the recent era of Formula One. Williams recovering after having a bad luck in the last few races with financial problems, and also Williams are just in a bad spot right now, it must be said. It's a shame where they went in the early 90s with one of the best cars they produced. But to this modern era of Formula One, where it's all about money these days, Williams don't have that technicality, unfortunately. They don't have the tools that Ferrari, Mercedes and Red Bull have. Williams are just fighting for scraps so far. They're currently down in P9 in the championship after Alpine scored a whole bunch of points at the Brazilian Grand Prix to promote them up to 6th place. The last decent season for Williams, I got to say, was like 2016-17. That's when they were competitive inside the top 10 all the time. We know that Williams sometimes gets inside the top 10, but not all the time. They're usually about in the lower end of the midfield. Their worst car? 2019 for sure. 2019 was such a horror car, but they still scored points, didn't they, in Williams, because of Robert Kubica, who made his return to Formula One after having his rallying accident in 2011, was it? But made his return, scored the German GP in 2019, outperformed Russell, but obviously Russell was a rookie, so yeah, you can excuse that one. Then obviously we had Nicholas Latifi and George Russell for 2020 to 2021 as Russell joined Mercedes in 22. And Latifi, just average midfielder, it must be said. But the lights are about to go out there. 4, 5 lights. There is no formation lap around here in this league as we get underway for the Baku Grand Prix. Decent start from Lucas. The Ferrari starts it behind, but look at that in the background. That's Kick. The championship leader has made a massive mistake, and I think he made contact there with the Ferrari on last traction. There's massive mayhem going to the midfield. There's a virtual safety car already. But Kick, what happened to him? Did he lose traction or did he make contact with somebody? But however, he's down into 7th place there. That's not good news for the Williams driver. 2 people have been disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. Very odd indeed. Whoever that was has been disqualified. No, 1 person got disqualified for parking in a dangerous location, but 2 people got a penalty. Sheepy Gamer got a penalty for ignoring yellow flags, was it? He can't cut corners because it's impossible to cut corners in turn 1, turn 2 and turn 3. So already got a penalty there, unfortunately. But that's a massive, consequence there for Kick Racing Pro. Fireblaze has the advantage of P3. So 2 Ferraris versus 1 Williams. I'm excited for this championship battle, despite being my first appearance here in this league. But the VSC has ended. We can get racing once again. And luckily for Kick, he only lost about 3 or 4 places. Let's have a look where he started. Lost 3 places, yeah. So I thought he would lose loads of positions after his mistake at the start of the race. But anyways, we get settled into rhythm as the Red Bull taps the wall there. Nice camera shot as we exit turn 14 into 15 we go. It's 2 Ferraris versus Williams then. So both Ferraris could put big pressure on the Williams and Lucas there. Remember, Finn and Lucas are fighting for a championship battle. Tice is back in the session down in P19. So both Saubers having a horror of a race so far. One disqualified and the other one being 19th place. Here comes Finn then, not waiting around, and he takes the lead of the Grand Prix immediately. The Red Bull of Ivan then moving a few places up, and then McLaren dives off into the pit lane. That's Tim, unfortunately for him. So I think he might have sustained a bit of front wing damage as the McLaren driver after carnage in the first opening laps of this race, and he's in the pit lane then to necessitate a front wing change. But however, the DRS is enabled. Remember, at the end of lap 1, DRS immediately is enabled as the rule change this year in Formula 1. As you can see, Lucas is in a Williams sandwich then, as both Ferraris have the high ground so far, can play their cars right, try and put Lucas under massive pressure. I've seen the scenario plenty of times where it's 1 versus 2 people, so Kick needs to put himself inside, he needs to put himself in this battle immediately to make sure his pressure is not. Make sure his teammates not under massive pressure, but there's an Alpine, that's Octavia, who's gone for a moment at the exit of turn number 1 there. Not quite sure what happened to him. As now coming through the castle section we go. Majority of people on the mini compound tyres, 2 of them, well, 1 of them's on the hards inside the top 10. That's Kaiken Kass. Crucial for Kaiken Kass in P8. He is outside the DRS range of Ryan Benink, so he's going to be struggling to get himself outside the DRS range, because the DRS is very powerful in this game. It's so difficult to break away from a DRS train, or pull away, or try and catch up to a DRS train. That's what I'm trying to say. But the gap is 1.3 seconds. The advantage will come for him soon when the mediums start playing away then. So he's playing the long game, is Kaiken Kass. Will that work? I had a race around here in Baku. I did mediums to hards. Mediums to hards was the way to go, because the mediums, they just suffer so much when it comes to longevity. And here comes Kunuminous Bus then on the Red Bull driver Ivan, so he puts himself into P4. Finn has set the fast up of the Grand Prix. The behind is Daniel versus Kaiken Kass, and Daniel puts himself into P8 ahead of the Aston Martin driver on the hardcore power tyres. Then AMS Raymond has set the fast up of the Grand Prix. He's down in P11 there, outside the top 10. As we exit turn 2, will we see any overtakes? In the first stint, it's all about settling into a rhythm there. You don't want to go for any rash moves. You just want to settle into a DRS train in the first stint, and it should get very interesting in the middle stint. But I presume that the top 3 will trade DRS to keep the others behind and keep themselves in that position there where it's so difficult to try and overtake in a DRS train, because the guys ahead are carrying the same speed essentially. So people down in 4th and 6th will have a hard time getting their way through the field. Well, I think with the top 3 could control this race if it remains as it is so far. But ideally, can Fireblaze put Lucas into P3, and therefore Ferrari could control this race with a 1-2? Kick Racing Pro could have that mistake in this race have massive consequences. There's 2 races left to go, Baku, and the next one, which should be, I remember it was the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Of course, it's Abu Dhabi. I don't know why I forgot that one, but yeah, there's 2 races left to go in this race. Fireblaze sees an opening. Look at that, it's right to the back of the Williams' gearbox then, so looking for an overtake, but will he get it down the straight? Does Kick Racing Pro have damage? Good question. I will have a look for you right now. He did tap the wall, but let me have a look to see what happens down the straight. Will Fireblaze overtake Lucas? Will Lucas get ahead of Finn there to try and put himself at least 1 Ferrari behind him? Here he is then. Lucas pulls to the right side. Fireblaze lets his teammate go, and he puts himself into P2 then. So both of them going past Finn, and that's probably a wise thing to do then. So now Fireblaze is up into P2, and he's now putting pressure on the man in P1. So let's have a look. Does he have damage? I can't quite tell you from this camera angle. Let's have a look to see. Does he? No, he doesn't. I can't see. But look at this. AMS Lucas versus Fireblaze as we go down towards turn 3. Fireblaze just defends there on the outside, and he stays in P1 for the time being. Great defense there from the Ferrari driver. I got a bit confused because I was about to call Fireblaze the Williams driver, because in the other league he races in, he's in the Williams, so it will get confusing seeing the Ferrari and the Williams together. I've got to remember that Fireblade isn't a Ferrari. But luckily for Kick in P6, he recovers. But what he could do now is just settle into this DRS train and try and find a way past, which is easier said than done. You got to catch your opponent's lacking and see when is the best time to overtake in that DRS train, because it's never easy. But you just got to try and push yourself to overtake. You got to try and push those guys in front of you to overtake each other. Try and put themselves in uncomfortable territory, and try and force those moves as quick as you can. But so far, I think the Ferrari drivers have the upper hand as they got themselves to first and third, with the Williams in second place. What can AMS Lucas do? The crucial thing for AMS Lucas is not to be stuck behind both Ferraris. He's got to keep at least one of them behind him. So therefore, he has that card to play and try and keep himself in DRS range of the other one, trying to overtake him. But in the background, that's Kick overtaking Ivan. Here comes Lucas now. To be overtaking Fireblade. Here comes his teammate. Will he overtake him? No, he stays behind him for the time being. But Kick has overtaken the Red Bull. He puts himself into P5. So that's one car dispatched. The next one is Columnus Bus. And we'll see then how quickly or difficult will it be overtake him. That was so scary there for Kick Racing Pro, because if he lost it and broke his wing, that could be the championship swung around towards Fireblade's wave. Here comes Fireblade up the inside into turn 3. It was a half-hearted move, but like it was, roles reversed. It was the same situation where, there's a spinner in the background. That's a Haas, and it's Sheepy Gamer as well, who spun and lost his end plate too. No safety car will be deployed or virtual, so we can continue with racing as it is so far. With AMS Lucas, the Red Bull has made a big mistake. He's ghosted. Ivan has dropped into P7, and what happened to him? Lost traction, I presume, out of turn 7 there. He's inside his teammate as the Ghosts. They're both racing as ghosts in each other, but looks like they've sorted themselves out now. And Danielle is on the back of him. We did see a break in the DRS train, didn't we? But they're all back together. It's a DRS train from 1st to 11th. We saw Kike and Cass at one point in the hardcore powered tyres, but it seems like the people in the mediums got the better of him with better tyres, better grip, and he's been pushed into P11 now. But the advantage will swing his way later in the Grand Prix when he goes to the medium compound tyres. In the background there, that's Columnus Bus, who gets a terrible exit, and he almost hit the wall too for good measure. The back end of the car just snapped on him, and now the Williams, a Kick, is putting big pressure on him. This could be another overtaking advantage for him. DRS enabled for both drivers there. What on earth happened there? Did he break his wing? I'm not quite sure, but Kick, luckily, did not lose his front wing. Fireblades is ahead of AMS Lucas. Kick is still side by side. Ominous Bus is late to the brakes. Great defending there from Ominous Bus. He stays in P4. He broke so late, I thought he was going to go in the wall there. Do you know what? Kick must have a heart attack by now, almost losing it out of turn, almost losing it at the start of the Grand Prix. And he almost lost his wing too. Both Red Bulls are still fighting there. As we can see, Ivan just gets ahead of his teammate for P6, gets back ahead of him. He made that mistake a lap ago, didn't he? But it looks like he's rectified that and continues with his pace, trying to fight back with Kick. Columnus Bus is in a tricky situation because the guys around him are in a massive championship fight. Williams versus Ferrari, Kick versus Fireblades, Lucas versus Finn. But Columnus Bus will not give a damn about it. He's running his own race. He don't care if people are in a championship fight. He's going to go for it left, right and centre. All he cares about is a podium and a race win. He's currently like the outlier in this race, the championship. So Fireblade still leads him away. 19 drivers still in this race. We have one virtual safety car due to McTimmy losing it. He didn't take part in qualifying, so McTimmy's race lasted for a few corners only before he got disqualified for going the wrong way round. Here we are then, this massive DRS train following each other. You can see that Finn is right at the back of Lucas once again then, so this should be another overtake. But Fireblades might get swamped in this straight because Lucas will be forced to overtake Fireblades, and the other Ferrari might come through to the side by side now. He's going to go 3 abreast on this straight. Look at that, Lucas on the inside line. He might be 2 for 1, but Finn is up into first place ahead of Lucas, and Fireblades has been pushed into P3 there. But now we have the DRS on the back of those two, so we can do the same thing. But Kick is struggling, I think. The gap between him and Columnus Bus was 1 second. He needs to keep himself in DRS range. If he don't, the top 4 will pull away. It's so difficult to cash in a DRS train once you break out of it. So that's very crucial for him. But is he starting to struggle on those mini compound tyres? Look at that, another moment coming out of turn 3 there. So it looks like he's struggling just a bit in the corners. I don't think he's got damage. If he does, it might be light green. But luckily for him, that could have ended very badly if it wasn't for Illuminous Bus being as a ghost. Look how bunched up these top four are. It's super close between the top four. Look at that. You've got a high pressure situation. You've got to make the right decisions at the same time. My voice is going, by the way, so let me get a drink. But these guys here, I've got everything on the line. Everything's at stake for all these drivers from first, second, third and fifth. All the big championship fight, all have to work together with each other in these high pressure situations. The question is though, who can handle the pressure the most are these guys, because you've got so much to think about. Planning your overtakes, when to pit, how to keep the other guy behind you, keeping your car on the circuit, knowing what the right strategy is and what to do at the same time. You've got so much going on at once. It's very hard to digest. As you can see that Raymond has overtaken Ryan up into P5 he goes. The DRS has been split. Keek is in the pit lane. Wow, that's an early pit stop that I predicted about lap 11 or 12. But he's gone for an early pit stop and undercutting these guys. And we'll see. Will that pay dividends for his race or later on in this race? So he rejoins crucially in cleaner. Ivan Reiki has gone for a pit stop as well. So they rejoin in 11th, 12th and 13th place there. But I think Kick was struggling in the medium compound tyres. We saw him sliding around so much in those medium compound tyres, almost being dropped out of DRS range. So let's see, has this pulled the trigger for the undercuts here and for the pit stops as well? What are these guys going to do? Are they going to respond immediately, or are they going to wait it out and have better tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix? So Kick has pulled the trigger. Will it be beneficial for him, or will it bite it back later on in the Grand Prix? We're about to find out. So coming out of the castle section now with Finn in the lead ahead of Lucas. I think Finn is giving full priority to Fireplace. He's got to. I do believe that those two are deployed together. Why won't they be? Because they're the massive championship fight, and they'll be communicating with each other on the strategy to let each other know what's going to happen. Even though that Finn is leading this race, he's going to give the preferential strategy towards Fireblaze, because Fireblaze is second in the championship, and Ferrari need to do everything they can in this disposal to try and get their main driver the most points out of all of them. So here we go. Is anybody going to pit? Fireblaze is not going to pit, so we might try dummy there, the Williams driver. So these guys extending on their stint. Ryan is ahead of, well, they're both pitted anyway, so it doesn't matter, but these guys are now pitted. But now the top four in this race have stayed out, elongating their first strategy. What they're doing is suffering now and be rewarded later. They will have the better tyres towards the latter stage of this Grand Prix. There's a yellow flag. Could that be a safety car? A safety car is the last thing Kick needs. And there he is. Kick is under pressure from the Red Bull behind. I believe these guys will undercut the top four. What's the gap to leader between him and Kick? 19.4 seconds. There's another yellow flag, and that could have a massive influence in this Grand Prix. You don't want to be you don't want to be that driver who causes a yellow flag and be the outcome of a race. Nicholas Latifi, for example, in 2021. But Octavia gets going once again. And he's lost a bit of his own play there too, so not a good race whatsoever for the Alpine driver. But look at that, a massive slide from Finn. These guys are starting to struggle on their older medium compound tyres. They're just playing the patient long game before they switch over to the hard compound tyres. Fireblaze doing everything he can to keep this championship battle alive between himself and Kick in P8. Lap 9 out of 26 then. We'll see some pit stop happening soon. But there's a yellow flag. Who is that? That's Raymond. Raymond's gone for a moment. Where's that? The castle section. So another driver to be struggling in the castle section there as he gets going once again. But back on board with the top four. Also tantalizingly close. Which one of these guys are going to pit? How long are these guys going to extend their stint? But Fireplace is going to pit this lap. He is committed to the white line. And let's see, where will he rejoin in comparison towards Kick Racing Pro? We'll go on board with Kick. In fact, we'll watch these two first to see what happens. Will he rejoin ahead of Kick? Has Kick got the undercut on the Ferrari driver ahead of him? Look at that. Look who he's bringing along. Two drivers behind him, which is Ivan and his teammate Red Bull as well. So he's bringing along two Red Bulls to the party as we head down towards turn one. Where is the Ferrari? There he is. Massive undercut. Massive overcut, sorry. Fireblaze has overcutted Kick. He did not get the undercut to Kick. So that's a massive blow in this race for the Williams driver. I thought the undercut was powerful around here, but it seems like the Williams is struggling so far. So a lot of work to do for Kick if he wants to get himself in close contention. Look at that. Hesitant going down there into turn 3. I know a lot of people are rooting for Kick so far, but this race could go down to the wire in Abu Dhabi between those two. And I can't wait either. And plus, I'll have more time to do more research on these races too, because I got balls in last second. So I'll have a lot more time to discuss everything about this season. Oh, a slight tap to the wall there for Kick and the exit of turn 7 then. So he is. Oh, another moment in the castle section. Kick, got to keep it nice and clean. Championship's at stake. 11 points is the gap, and looks like he's struggling so far. Fireblaze is pulling away from the trio behind him. I feel for Kick because I'm nervous he might hit the wall or something and break his wing. He's getting so close to the walls. The top 3 again. Here comes AMS Lucas in the pit lane, and here comes... Oh, that's a bit of a late call there from the Ferrari driver, but we'll see what happens after the race. But the top 3 now in the pit lane. Will Fireblaze rejoin in front of him? I think that he will, with the pace he has so far in the Ferrari. So I think he might get the undercut on the top 3. Kaiken and Patat Job are the ones leading this Grand Prix on the hard compound tyres. Here comes the Red Bull now, challenging Kick, and he puts him into P8. So demotes him into 8th place. But where is the top 3? There they are then. So Fireblaze rejoins in P4. Look at that, side by side. Around the outside of Lucas. That's a good move. DRS enabled for the Ferrari driver too to stay ahead of the Williams there. They were so close out of the pit lane. And Fireblaze just rejoins in front of Lucas for the time being. Elsewhere, there's an Alpine in the middle of that sandwich as well. So we're back together in this DRS train on the hard compound tyres. So Kick is back in DRS range of these guys, but there is an Alpine in the way. But Kick so far looks like he's really struggling in that car. The balance of the car does not look great because we've seen the car moving around just like that. A good example there too. The car was moving around. He's struggling to get on the traction there. Keep it respectful in the chat, guys. Keep it respectful. But now we make our way towards the castle section, climbing up towards the top of the hill. He's in a very difficult situation so far, being behind this DRS train. He's really struggling as well, his Kick, to try and get traction as well. But he's under massive pressure from right behind. Just can't seem to find any pace in that Williams whatsoever. Just constantly sliding around in that Williams. What can he do from here? His championship. Fireblaze is going to take points out of him if it stays like this. But anything can happen around here in Baku. We haven't had a safety car just yet. There's still a long way to go in this Grand Prix. Fireblaze just needs to keep it nice and controlled. He's currently the net race leader in P3, but AMS Lucas is still there to put a challenge on him. As the DRS then is enabled, will Lucas get past him down to turn 1, or will he bide his time as we head towards the breaker zone? Lucas stays in P4 as all the guys bunch up together with the closest speed with the DRS further behind. Kick is defended from Ryan there in P9. He's on the fringes of being pushed into P9. Is the Williams driver as we head now on the second straight with the DRS enabled again. Will Lucas look to pounce back on Fireblaze going down into turn 3? The only thing that Kick can rely on is Lucas. Lucas is the one that can really take away points away from Kick. So I think Lucas has got a lot of work to do, try and put him down the order. But easier said than done, of course. Columbus Bus is right behind the Ferrari driver. He had mighty pace in the first stint, but we did see him slide around, especially the exit of turn 16 where Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri had their little drift out of that corner. But Columbus Bus is really... Ooh, somebody in the background's gone for a spin. And that's Octavia. Octavia stopped at the exit of turn 7, I believe he has. And he gets going once again. So the Alpine driver is really struggling. But fair dues for keeping going, because I know myself would have quit if I was a lap down. But he's still going for it. But Fireblaze then, currently the net lead of this Grand Prix, got a massive DRS train behind him. But so far good for the Ferrari, man. Both Ferraris on a really good position here. As we make our way now towards the final 2 corners we go in turn 16 and 17. This is theoretically the final corner. It is marked, of course, but I don't really call it a corner. It's an easy flat-out king. But Finn is right behind the Williams driver Lucas there. So Lucas deploying a bit of battery as he tries to stay ahead of the Ferrari. The Ferrari has no battery. Kick is back ahead of the Red Bull driver. Here comes his teammate, but not going to go for the move into turn one. A bit risky there. Look at that. Look how close they get towards the exit of turn one. Super close. I've tapped it before, especially in qualifying. It's like a Octavia has retired in the pit lane. It sticks out like a sore thumb. There we go. I finally got the words out. But yeah, the outside wall at turn one sticks out like a sore thumb. I've not really seen anybody hit it in actual F1. As we are halfway there in this Grand Prix, lap 13 out of 26. The top two in this race haven't pitted just yet. Kike and Cass hasn't pitted. Neither has Patat Job in P2. They're going to go for a long stint on the hardcore power tyres before they switch over to the mediums, and we'll see how quick they are towards the end of this Grand Prix. Kike and Cass was the highest Harvard up there. The gap is 3.7 between him and his neighbour's rival in second place there. So we've got a bit of a gap. How's the Aston Martin to just breathe in and try and elongate his first stint before he goes on to the fresher tyres towards the end. Kick Racing Pro is right behind Columbus Bus then, so as he finally found some form in that Williams, whatever problems he was going through in the Williams, it looks like he's sorted himself out now and can try and focus on putting the attack on the Mercedes. But we know what happened last time these two close together. It was a fantastic battle between those two. I know Dole has picked himself up a second time penalty. AMS Tim, despite pitting early in this race, is up to P11, but we know his hardcore power tyres has got to make the distance, so that's going to be a very long stint on those hards. But here we are with the DRS enabled, all following the same speed, having the same speed on the straight, so no one is going to go for an overtake just yet down as turn number one we go. No late moves going down here into turn one, so we're just staying stationary for the time being. But Kick has got to watch out for both Red Bulls right behind them, going to pounce. AMS Raymond is on the soft power tyres, interestingly, but go for that short stint on the softs before he goes on to another set of mediums, potentially. Tice, we know he left the session cheap again. We know broke his wing earlier on, but look at that Finn right behind the Williams. The Williams and Lucas has hit the wall. Here comes the Ferrari now side by side. And Lucas just stays in P4, but crucially, Fireblaze has pulled 1 second. Could that be the moment where it could have been over for Lucas? Because when somebody breaks out DRS range, they get going. They break them and lose them. So Lucas, is there any way to get back in DRS range? That small mistake has big consequences. Is Fireblaze able to pull away? Or can Lucas bring the gap down under a second? He's got to do it this lap because obviously there's no DRS where they were from turn 3 all the way down towards turn 17. So he's got to do it right now, but he's using a lot of batteries to do so. Fireblaze is keeping that gap over 1 second, crucially for him, as we enter now turn 15. It's hovering, it's fluctuating between 9 tenths and 1 second, but can he get it on the DRS detection point? That's the main question. Look at the launch Fireblaze has. Lucas will not have DRS on the straight, and he'll be defenseless down it too. So I think Finn will have the advantage there to overtake him on the straight and get himself back in DRS range of his teammate. Here he is then. Finn with the DRS enabled should be able to power pass. Not yet though. Here he is side by side with his championship rival, and he puts himself into P3. Also, Columbus Bus goes up into P5 ahead of Lucas then. So both Williams are in a massive disadvantage there. And Kick Racing Pro has been demoted down into P9. Both Red Bulls have got past him. This is not a good day for Williams, at all. Both Williams have been on the back foot. This is a dream for Ferrari. They could take championship points away in the constructors. Fireblaze can close the gap down towards Kick Racing Pro. Will Fireblaze be the one to take the championship lead? I can't mathematically work out the championship. I'm ahead. I'm not a calculator. Look at that, a massive moment at turn 7. So somebody in the chat, try and work out what the points are going to be, because I don't have the mental maths for that. I'm not good at maths, but yeah, try and work it out for us. Will Fireblaze overtake Kick Racing Pro in the championship today? In the land of the rising, in the land of fire, Fireblaze is definitely on fire tonight. But Kick Racing Pro, on the other hand, is struggling, and he's last in the DRS train. Somebody has broken the end plate. Who was that? Was that Williams? Somebody lost the end plate through there. I definitely saw about carbon fibre on the circuit. I can't quite tell who it is. Was it a Mercedes or Columbus Bus? And Mercedes and Mel's Gaming has retired from the race. It's a VSC. Let's see. Where is Geiken? Geiken can dive in the pit lane and put on a set of medium compound tyres. So can the RB2. That's a dream for them, the VSC. Maybe not a full safety car, but you still don't lose too much time behind a VSC. Kick has a tyre problem. He loses the car bits and bits more where his tyres are so bad. Yeah, maybe the hard compound tyres, the mediums in the first and second stint were overheating. Maybe he doesn't have to set up around this track. So in terms of racecraft, he's struggling. What's happened here? Finn has overtaken Lucas for some reason. Why is that, I wonder? Look, they're going about to go side by side on the straight, but I think Finn needs to give Lucas back the place because Lucas was ahead, wasn't he? No? You know what? I'm not quite sure what happened there. I'll leave it down to the stewards. Could have been the other way around, of course. So watch out for the likes of Geiken and Patat Job in the Aston Martin and the RB. They could be very quick towards the end. Could they be an influence in this battle? We might have two more people involved in the battle for the top 7 here. For the lead of the Grand Prix, DRS has been enabled. We can get racing once again. Daniel has picked himself up a 10-second time penalty for crossing the pit lane white line exit. And that's a big penalty indeed. You get a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane and also exiting the pit lane on the white line. So he's down in where is he right now? P14 on the bonus medium compound tyres. And it's not worse for him whatsoever. I'm surprised Raymond didn't pit. Why didn't Raymond pit under the VSC? He's on the soft compound tyres as well. So I thought he would have died in the split lane and put on a bonus set of mediums or whatever. As we exit turn 16 now. And look at Finn. He's almost 1 second away from Columnus Bus. And the Columnus Bus is almost in DRS range. Now he's in DRS range of Fireblaze. Have I missed something here? I think for some reason Columnus Bus is ahead of Finn and Lucas. Wasn't he 4th at one point? I'm not quite sure actually. But here comes Lucas then up into P3 ahead of Finn. But I think something happened under the VSC because I don't recall Columnus Bus being up into P2. So I need to go rewatch that back to see exactly what happened. Just give me a few moments while I replay what happened there because something happened on the VSC where the order changed. So Finn was ahead of Columnus Bus when the VSC came out, but I don't know how Columnus Bus overtook Finn under the VSC and never got a penalty. So there was an overtake happening under the VSC. Lucas dropped out to 4th place. I'm not quite sure actually. There's a lot to explain, but there was a few overtakes that wasn't supposed to happen. Yeah, good games, NL. I do get it, mate. Don't worry. I understand. It's neat. Don't worry. I do understand, mate. And yeah, so Kick has big problems. Plus, he was the first one to pit in this train. And it's probably cost him towards the end as well because he doesn't have the better tyres in comparison to the rest of the field then. So Columnus Bus, what a great drive from him so far in the Mercedes. He's right at the back of Fireblaze. I thought Fireblaze would have this under control when he broke out the DRS range. But the Mercedes driver has something to prove here tonight. He's right at the back of Fireblaze. And let's see then what will happen between the first and second there. Columnus Bus on the DRS on the back of the Ferrari driver. It should be an easy overtake because he's right behind him. But the DRS is enabled. Daniel has retired from this race. Is this a safety car? No, it's not. Do you know what? That could have been scary for those guys on the straight because sometimes when a safety car comes out, people can't pit. And here we are, side by side with the Red Bull and the Ferrari. And now Finn has been demoted. Here comes the other Red Bull. Both Red Bulls are storming through the field, side by side into turn 2. And Ryan gets a better exit than Finn. What's happened to Finn? He's dropped backwards here. His pace has dropped backwards, but Fireblaze is ahead of Columnus Bus again to retake the lead of this Grand Prix. And now, off in the road, off into the runoff area, goes the Red Bull driver. He believes he's going to hit the wall at turn 3, so he backed out of it. And now Geiken Cass is up into P7. I don't know, I thought he'd make the corner, but did he lock his rear end up and therefore cause him to go to the wall, runoff area? I'm not quite sure, but it's such a shame because both Red Bulls were storming to the field. Kick Racing Pro, look at that, drifting at turn 7 there. Patat Job is now ahead of Ryan. Oh, massive shame there for Ryan because his pace and his teammates' pace was fantastic indeed. But unfortunately, that mistake was made and now he's down to P9 and out of this DRS train. So, Fireblaze leads Columnus ahead of Lucas. The top 6 have been going at it for the whole race as well. We've still got 8 laps left to go in this Grand Prix. Lucas is 1.3 seconds away from Fireblaze, and I need to work out in the championship who is going to get ahead of who. As a commentator, watching and trying to work out mental maths, never a good sign. But anyways, Columbus Bus is right at the back of the Ferrari driver, and the Mercedes just blast past with the extra speed down the straight. And the more these two fight, the better. Well, the more these two trade DRS on the straight, the better for them, because AMS Lucas is not able to get back in DRS range, is he? Here's an interesting battle. Oh, Ryan's retired in the pit. Oh, come on, Ryan. That's a... Oh, yeah, you don't like to see it at all. I know you're angry. I know you're frustrated, mate. But you got to keep going, because that's the end of that's what makes you a race at the end of the day. No matter how bad things get, you got to keep going. I know it's so frustrating. Don't get me wrong. I'm a driver myself. I league race, and when I make clumsy mistakes like that myself, you want to retire and quit, don't you? But you got to have that racing mentality to keep going. You know what I mean? Fair play if you're a lap behind, you can pit and retire. But at the same time, you're in the top 10 fighting for points. And plus, you're in a constructors' battle too. Alpine, Red Bull, and Aston Martin are in a constructors' battle. The gap between those 3 teams are 5 points. You can't afford to waste points at all, because you never know if Alpine or Aston Martin have the upper hand in the next race. That's the beauty of F1 league racing. Sometimes you don't know what's going to happen. One race, it could go their way. The second race, it can spin back the other team's race. So even if it's little points, it's still important. But anyways, the Red Bull driver of Ryan is finished now, and it's down to Ivan to pick up those points and get on the podium too. So Fireblaze then, what's he going to do? Is he going to stick in the back of Mercedes and wait for the last lap? Because he knows... There it is then. Finally, the good games, and then brings me some intel. Thank you so much there, Good Games. By the way, Good Games, can you stay in the chat and give me the live updates of the point situation? Because we don't know if Fireblaze will finish first or second, and we don't know where Kiki will end up either at the end of the race. But here comes Finn, now side by side with the Williams going down into turn 3, but the Williams just lays on the brakes and just stays ahead. Donkeyville, Good Games, Donkeyville. 6 laps left to go, and this race is spicing up. The top 2 have been left alone to fight out to decide who will become the winner of this race. Ryan says, my 3rd ever race in this league and my worst track, in my opinion. Not really bothered by the retirement. Fair play, Ryan. Fair play. If you're not bothered, then it's all right, really. But Ryan, come back stronger in the next race, mate. My voice is going, as you can probably say. Who has fastest time? That's a good point. Let me go check that. So the fastest time does belong to the man in P13, which is AMS Raymond then. So he gets the fast lap point. Shall I leave it as this? Yeah, might as well. Oh, no, I need to get up to leader, don't I? So I need to get up to leader or interval. So the top 2 then, Fireblaze versus Columbus Bus. There's 6 laps left to go. Which one of these 2 will win this Grand Prix? It all depends who is first out of these 2 in the last few laps, because second place will have DRS 3 times on that lap and should be able to overtake. But I've seen plenty of situations where second place goes for an overtake on first, then second place gets them back. Lucas now up into P3 ahead of the Red Bull of Ivan. And Finn, I think what Finn has to do in this Grand Prix is just keep behind. He has to keep behind him. That's all he's going to do. I know he wants a podium, it's right there in front of him, but in terms of the championship, keep behind. Every single point matters. We saw that back in 2021 when it literally came down to the wire between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. I remember Verstappen having a 33 point lead ahead of Hamilton. The British GP came, lost it, went down to about 17 points. Then at the Hungarian Grand Prix, Verstappen got smashed into by Bottas and Lando Norris, lost even more points there when Hamilton finished in second place. Then at the Belgian Grand Prix, Verstappen gained more points than him, only by a few, because the race was only 2 laps. And then in the Monza Grand Prix, we know what happened there with Verstappen and Hamilton taking each other out. So If this is the result, there is 1 point difference between first and second, which means Abu Dhabi 2021 race. Oh, that could get very interesting indeed then. So Fireblaze is keeping this championship alive towards the end of this race. Fireblaze was on the podium as well. It should be close. I think Kick was good at Abu Dhabi last season, but we had a really crazy race. You see, I only know one person in this league, which is Fireblaze. Fireblaze is an amazing driver, and I know what he's capable of as well. And he gets me overtaken. But could this be a safety car? Safety car's been deployed. They're in the pit lane. Where is the safety car? The top two have been disadvantaged, but where is the safety car? They're fine. The top two are fine because the safety car's coming out of the pit lane right now. I thought the safety car was at the end of the pit lane already. So that's super lucky that the safety car did not come out immediately out on the track, because that's what happened last time. Last time I commentated and the safety car came out where the leaders were pulling away. The safety car came out at the wrong time, and therefore those guys who went past the pit lane entry couldn't pit because the order comes to the safety car. They are so lucky it's a long pit lane. So I think the top four can pit. They can pit, it's all good. So no panic for them. But now this is going to be very interesting. It's a sprint race to see where these guys will end up. The guys are going to go on a set of soft compound tyres. But the question is, though, who has this set of soft compound tyres? I mean, a brand new set, sorry, because I know people use more than one set in Q1 and Q2. Who has used up all their set of soft compound tyres? Oh, look at that. Fireblaze almost sits in the back of Columnus Bus there. Got to pay attention towards the Delta. This could be absolute madness towards the end of this race. It could be 2021. No, it won't be. It won't be 2021 because Baku, we had a red flag, didn't we? Because of Verstappen and Stroll losing their tyres. Obviously, there's no red flag. But it's a sprint, not a marathon. It's a marathon, not a sprint, as Hamilton said. But this is a definition of a sprint with only about 2 laps left to go. It's all or nothing for these drivers. This could get very hectic indeed. Could be very chaotic towards the last stages because they could all go for it. People like Columnus Bus have nothing to lose. He just wants to win the Grand Prix. They don't care what the championship is like. He's just going to go for the win. But I can't wait to see what happens towards the end of this Grand Prix. The trajectory of this race has been completely changed as the guys... What's Lucas doing? Wow, Lucas is the sacrificial lamb. He's in P1. He has decided not to pit. And I dare say this is a tactic from Williams to keep him out there to defend from Fireblaze in the last 2 laps of this Grand Prix. That's what's happened so far. And we'll see how it will have an impact towards the end of this race. Oh, my heart's racing here. I don't know what's going to happen. Could Kick be back in advantage? Could he be back into play now on the soft compound tyres? I don't know who's going to win this Grand Prix. But every single driver now is on a set of soft compound tyres. By the way, I'm going to get a glass of water before we end the safety car so I can clear my voice, because I haven't had a drink at all during this Grand Prix or qualifying. I had a sip of water, so I'll be right back to get some water. In chess, we know that the pawns go first, and that's why Lucas is out there to protect or try and defend for Fireblaze as much as he can. Yeah, I think if Lucas can't hold off Fireblaze, he will back off to give Kick extra points. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. I think Kick is relying on his teammate because we know that Kick hasn't had the pace since the get-go, really, in the race when he made those mistakes, especially at the start of the race. That could have ended badly there at the start of the race. But luckily, he collected the car. But he has been struggling, but in the last 3 laps, can things change for the Williams driver? Could something happen in front of us? What I'm worried about is those guys making contact, because I know that Lucas will defend everything he can do in his power to defend, but at the same time, I don't want him to make contact with people because it's like things would get very nasty indeed. All these guys will be probably yeah, I can see one way it's going. I've seen it before where everything gets scrappy. All the good intentions go out the window. All the integrity and pride. And all the people there making contact with each other, fighting so hard because they know they're on new tyres and there's only about 2 laps left to go. It's all or nothing for these drivers, literally. But at the same time, they've got to bear in mind where their championship rival is. How much risk are they willing to take? Is P3 enough for Fireblaze? Is he going to fight against Lucas very hardly? I think he wants all the points he can get to try and reduce the points in the Drivers' Championship down to about 1 or 2 points if he can. But first off, there is the Williams in front of him, of Lucas, who's been left out there to do a Sergio Perez and defend against the championship leaders. Didn't mean to do that, of course, didn't mean to pause it. I pressed the wrong button, but only one person in this race got a penalty so far. I feel sorry for Kak and Haas in P7 and P8. They were catching on the medium compound tyres, but now it's a level playing field with them. They're on the softs, so their strategy hasn't worked. Although, yeah, I think it has worked because they caught up to them. But obviously, they're on the same tyres as the rest of the drivers ahead, so they're on a level playing field. The safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. There is 2 laps of racing left here in Baku. 2 very important laps. Is going to be any carnage. Is going to be any contact with these guys. Crashes between the championship rivals. We're about to find out. Lucas is backing that back up. His main target is Fireblaze. He's trying to keep it behind to aid his teammate to extend the championship gap or reduce the points deficit in the championship. Depends how much he can defend against Fireblaze. But I really hope it doesn't end in contact. It looked like it was Fireblaze versus Columbus Bus for the win before the safety car came up, but they're all bunched up together. Anybody could get this win. It just depends how things play out between all the drivers. As you can see, Weavens get the extra bit of tire temperature. When will he decide to go? Do you remember that crash last year? Job gets a 10-second penalty for a collision with Kak and Cass. Do you remember that crash in F2? Where I think a lot of people make contact on the main straight. I think it was last year, but anyways, he's going to leave it down towards the line. Off he goes again, and Lucas leads him away. But the Red Bull, is he going to go to the inside? Yes, he is. On the brakes, into turn 1 we go. He's ahead, but look at the Ferrari, look at the Williams. This boxed in kick. That is kick boxed in between both Ferrari drivers, and he backs off. But look at that kick. Oh my goodness me, I don't even know where to begin. But Fireblaze stays ahead of Ivan. Kick was in a Ferrari sandwich, had nowhere to go, had to stay behind. Fireblaze stays in peace with his contact there, and down the inside goes Cumberland's Bus on the race leader. He puts himself into first place, but further behind, Fireblaze crucially stays ahead of Ivan and Kick and Finn. There was so much going on there too. I did not know how to address that, but luckily all of them kept unscathed. I don't know how, but Fireblaze managed to stay ahead of the attacking Red Bull driver. He had to deal with his teammate, and he had to deal with Kick. Kick is ahead of one driver of the Ferrari, so that's very crucial for him. And now we make our way towards the castle section we go, with 2 laps left to go. I don't think there's no DRS, is there, on the last lap? I'm not quite sure. Next target for Fireblaze is Lucas. Now that should be an easier target. The race win, I dare say, has been gone, because Columbus Bus will pull away, and I don't think Fireblaze has a chance to win this Grand Prix anymore. But Fireblaze, that reaction time almost caught him out because the Red Bull driver went up the inside. It all got a bit carnage, a bit hectic there into turn 3. Wasn't my best moment either because I had no idea what was going on. There was so much going on at the same time. But now Fireblaze is right at the back of the Williams driver, pulls alongside, and he'll take away second place there. Is the DRS enabled the next lap? I'm not quite sure. But anyways, He stays ahead. Lucas stays ahead. I forgot about that. Lucas is Kick's teammate, and he's going to do everything he can to defend. DRS is enabled as we head down towards turn 1 then, so Fireblades will have to wait to try to overtake the Williams. Is it at turn 3? Is it at turn 16 all the way towards the line? I'm not quite sure. As he settles in there and gets the DRS, you should have better grip on the soft compound tires. DRS is enabled. Is it going to be down at turn 3? We'll have a look to see what happens going down there. But here comes Kick on the Red Bull. Here comes Fireblades around the outside. Is that the best thing to do? Oh, it's so close. He almost hits the wall. Around the outside he goes. He takes second place away from Lucas, but Lucas, will he dive out of the way to let his teammate go? Surely that's the best thing to do. Yes, it is. Lucas lets his teammate go. Great teamwork for Williams there. Look at Ivan there trying to go around the outside, but can't quite do it. So Lucas doing a fantastic team job there, trying to hold up Fireblades, and now Kick, does he have the pace to out-drag him towards the line? Finn is ahead of Ivan there, but they go side by side in a dangerous place. Don't do this, don't do it, don't do it. Oh my goodness me, how on earth did you survive that? They both made it unscathed, but they're still fighting to the top of the hill. They lose a lot of time. Tim out of nowhere. Remember, he had front wing damage, I think, at the start of the Grand Prix, and now he's up into 5th place from out of nowhere. And these guys continue scrapping their way down to turn 15. Oh my goodness me, more contact indeed. The RB spun, that's Patat's job unfortunately. All these drivers there, yeah, just making a lot of contacts, as in no, his position to be gained. But Kilometer Bus, what an epic race from him. Started in 6th place. He was in the middle of the battle between Williams versus Ferrari, but he don't care about the championship. He's going for gold. He's going for his win, and he comes across the line to win the Baku Grand Prix. Fireblades in P2, Kick in 3rd place out of Lucas, and Tim in 5th ahead of the Ferrari. Look at that on a dole out of nowhere. Well, he gets a penalty at the end of the Grand Prix, but Good Games NL. What is the gap between the top 2 in the championship? About 9 points, 8 points? I don't know. Didn't know what, the safety car really helped Kick in the end. It brought him back into play. And Lucas did a fantastic job for his teammate. The gap is 4 points. I thought it to be a bit more than that. So Columbus Bus, fantastic epic victory around here in Baku. Such a fantastic race indeed to watch. Fireblades in P2. He did finish ahead of his championship rival, but he'd be wishing that the safety car didn't come out, because it brought Kick back into play. The gap is 9 points in the championship. You know what that means. It's going down to Abu Dhabi, but Kick has the upper hand still in the championship standings. The race is going down to the wire in Abu Dhabi, so join us for the last race of the season next Friday at 6 o'clock UK time, 7 PM for the Dutch people. What an epic race indeed. Good Game says, if Kick gets pole, fastest lap in Abu Dhabi, and is in P3, he won automatically. We'll find out next week, won't we? We'll see indeed. Fireblades might be a bit frustrated with that safety car because you get held up by AMS Lucas, but you got to play the game. That's how the game works sometimes. You got to try everything you could do to throw out to the other drivers, and that's exactly what Williams did. They had to do it. It's all part of Formula One. You've got to play every single card that you have, and they did exactly that. Even though Kick was struggling, he only finished 1 place behind his main championship rival, and that's what reduced his deficit, because if it wasn't for that safety car, it looked like Fireblades was going to win or finish in P2. But anyways, my job is done here tonight, and thank you so much for having me in this league. I know I've joined with 2 races left to go, and I don't have much information on this league either, but I'll do my research from here to next Friday and expect better commentary. So I'll see you all later. Have a good night.